So a couple days ago, my buddy TYREEK sent me the source photo and said, you know, hey, I want a photo like this, edited like this. So we're taking this reference here, we're going to transform him from this. This is the photo he sent me, to this in the quick, easy steps. And as you can see right here on my right, I have everything already pre-made because I've already edited this photo for him. I just wanted to go through the steps of what I did. As you can see here, we have our base layer. It's just cut out. I already went ahead and cut it out for the sake of time. We cut it out. It was a pretty easy crop just because there's a white background. And we're going to go ahead and just add our gradient behind him. Now that we have our gradient, we can add our skyline back in. This is just a regular photo of a skyline that I found. Set the blend mode to screen, and it works perfectly fine with that gradient. And we have that already have that skyline look in the background there. Now we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this base layer. This is actually my control. So if I do make any mistakes, I can go back to this layer right here, and I can start from scratch, or I can have a duplicated one. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and lock that. We have our gradient, we have our skyline. Now I'm going to go ahead and start on TYREEK and transforming him from Miles Morales into the Miles Morales that we see in this artwork here. Now if you notice, his Spider-Man logo is darker red, he's got shadows up here. The entire hoodie is kind of a blend of the background, but a little brighter towards the top. There are these little stars as well, these black stars up at the top with some white as well. And he has these paint drips that are coming out of the hoodie. Also, the city kind of goes into the middle part of his suit there, and a little bit farther up to the neck right here. So we're going to be replicating all of that. Now, for TYREEK himself, I take our base layer and I cut him out and add the same gradient, because if you look at the reference, it's a little bit brighter. So we add the same gradient, but I bring it down some, and that gave us that little bit of a brighter effect. So if you look right here, we're going to go ahead and crop out all of this, because we're going to color this red and this darker brownish black to the background, but we're going to leave all this the same color. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out. We're going to go ahead and add the city overlay to this gradient, and this is just using the soft light at full opacity. Same thing here, got him cut out with the city gradients, city overlay effect, with the city overlay effect with soft light, and this is at 85%, mostly because I want to still see that Spider-Man logo. I feel like 100 is a little too bright. I also darkened the top part here with the mask, just so it looked more like the source, and I also changed the color around so that it fit the more bluish purplish tones. So we're going to go from here. We're going to start working on the hoodie. The hoodie is honestly probably the easiest part, just because it's more overlay effects and it's not really as much cropping. So the hoodie itself is pretty easy. We're going to take that hoodie that we cut out from the base layer right here, and we're going to just add a hue change to it so it's more blue. And from there, we're going to go to Filter Gallery, Paint Dubs, and as you can see, we get the paint dab a little bit so it has that effect like the reference photo does. Looking good, but still not there. We definitely are getting to that final bit. We're almost done. We need to add those paint strokes. So if you look at our reference, we've got paint strokes falling down. We've got some dark colors here, some dark colors there. We've got more paint strokes falling down here, more paint strokes here. It kind of helps define Miles in the foreground from the background. So I've got the paint strokes all right here. All I did was just grab my paint stroke brush and I just painted it on. But what you'll see right now is just the already used effect that I did. As you'll see with a lot of this project, clipping masks are your friend. What they do is they clip to just what you have cropped out. So when I clip, you know, TYREEK here, the city that I've just clipped to that layer only shows up on that layer. It doesn't show up behind him or anything else, it's just in that layer. It saves you a lot of time. We're going to add these paint strokes, but we're going to clip them to TYREEK's hoodie. Now, let me just show you what they look like if they don't clip them. You can see all the extra stuff up here that I don't really want to worry about. I can just clip it and it follows that edge. We're going to do the same thing with this one. As you can see, no clip. We're going to go ahead and clip it. Boom, and it sticks right there. Now these paint dubs aren't exactly the same as the reference we have, but I like the creative decision that I did there, just because I feel like it makes it more of a realistic look as we're going for here. We're going for that live action kind of Miles Morales look. Now we're going to start working on the top of the hoodie. As you can see, it's still a little bit too clean, a little bit too cartoony, if that makes sense. So we're going to add more of those paint drips. I just stretched them out and elongated them, and I did the same thing, clipping masks all the way. As you can see, all I want to show is that little bit right there. So all of this I can clip. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and add a clipping mask. Boom, that's on there. Same thing here at the top. We've got all of this, and I did a warp transition. I did a warp effect just so I could get that shape, because remember, all I want to see is just that little bit of paint up. Same thing, create clipping mask, and that's on there now. Let's go ahead and do the right side, or his right side, our left side. So same thing, we're going to do a clipping mask. As you can see, all of that's nice and clear, and we have that side profile. Now, we're pretty much done here. The last thing that I did was, if you look at the reference, this bottom part is a little darker, and his hoodie has this shape, this really kind of iconic shape to it, almost like a building in itself. So I wanted to really replicate those, and I know that, you know, it's kind of difficult to with what I have here, but I made it work, and I added some hoodie extensions just to the side. Those are just pretty much solid layers that I did, and I used the pen tool. Basically all I did here was just drew my shape so it would match, and then I created a mask and painted it. So I have those hoodie extensions, and they flow pretty nicely with the actual hoodie. Last thing we're going to do is add the corner shadows, just to darken those corners. With that little bit of drop shadow, it kind of helps put the focus on the full image there. As you can see, it's not an exact one-to-one, but it is a live action version of Miles Morales here that we're doing. So this is the completed render. If you like what we did here, go ahead and follow me on YouTube at Nomad Films. If you want, I will put a link in the bio. And go ahead and drop a like or comment. Let me know what you think about these kind of videos. If they're informative, if they're interesting, if you learned some things. Alright peeps, see you later.